order on Friday, March 28th at 8:30 a.m. And for the record, all council members are present. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Great. So we'll take public comments for items not on the agenda. Do you have any public comments?
Mayor Kendall, there are no speaker slips and no persons in our Zoom audience that have a hand raised.
Wonderful. So we'll go straight to the staff report for city manager.
A brief introduction, and Greg has done the lion's share of the work.
Perfect.
We have been meeting with Sunflower Hills and Saha for the past month, going over the details of an ENA or an exclusive negotiating agreement. The agreement is before you, and Greg, do you want to talk about some details?
Saha and Sunflower Hills, those should be somewhat familiar names to the council. Sunflower Hill was approved for a project as part of the Lafayette Lane, which ultimately did not come to fruition. So they've been continuously looking for other opportunities to place an affordable housing project in the community for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So this is an opportunity to do that in the community. Our housing elements program 63G, I believe, it commits the city to make the land available for affordable housing. We in the program lay out outreach to potential affordable housing developers and kind of notifying it broad and wide, soliciting requests for proposals, evaluating those, choosing a development partner, and moving forward. This is an opportunity to forego that more lengthy time frame and more investment on the staff's part. Saha is a very well-known affordable housing developer in the Bay Area, and Sunflower has successful projects into neighboring communities. So their intention, they've been working and we've been assisting to prepare an application for the Department of Housing and Community Development's Super NOFA, so a super consolidated notice of funding availability, and that is due within about 3 weeks. In mid-April, and so they've been preparing that application if we are able to execute on an exclusive negotiating agreement with them. So there are certain terms which remain outstanding, which will be negotiated, but I think foremost would be the city, the price which staff is recommending is that it be conveyed to Sunflower Saha for $1 if they are available, if they secure funding to build the project. That is consistent with the policy direction and goals that the city council set out in the housing element. It would be the purpose of donating it is foremost to make the project as high scoring and likely to achieve funding, which is scarce. And so the land donation, first it being exempt surplus land, and second being donated from the city, and those local funds being leveraged in their application for monies. And so those are both very big, important factors. So with that, the staff has put together the draft exclusive negotiating agreement, which satisfies HCD's application requirements for site control for the purpose of the supernova. And happy to take any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? That's all fine.
Thank you very much, Greg. So question, just looking at the duration, the timing of the agreement, we have a 1 year. Can you just explain a little bit? So it's 1 year and something has to happen, and how does that work? And there's a mechanism for extensions. You can explain a little bit what that 1 year deadline entails and what we should expect.
Certainly. So we have a relatively compressed time frame for action under the state's and housing and community development. So the housing element extends to 2031. However, those units have to be completed by 2031. So to complete units by that time frame to be counted towards the current sixth cycle, action needs to be taken quickly. And so the goal is to commit the property to affordable housing, give the opportunity for application to HCD and other funding sources, but not commit it long-term and not have any action taken. So the one-year timeframe seems reasonable for both parties as an initial timeframe. It could be extended with kind of good reason and good opportunities to find other funding or a second bite at the apple from state funding. But it is an uncertain future, I'll say, with respect to funding from the state for affordable housing.
And maybe just a follow-up, well, another question, then just to follow, never mind. I think there was some public comment. I also heard a few things, business owner, whatever, worried about the lack of parking, of course, and the trade-offs there. And boy, why are we doing this for $1? It's a valuable asset. But I just want you to reiterate. So the thought of the city selling the property to the developer for $1 is going to improve the chances of housing being built.
Significantly, and I think that would be the case for any affordable housing developer, whether it's Saha or another entity. Had we gone out and publicized it more broadly and solicited RFPs, that it is the nature of building affordable housing that there needs to be support for that, largely from public entities. And this is essentially how the system is designed. And so to actually bring a project to fruition, this is how it takes.
Yeah.
I follow up on
Yeah,
that.
please.
Did you see Bob McLean's email
I did not.
memo?
Yeah.
Okay, it came in,
This
Late last
morning, I
night.
did not see it. Okay.
yeah. He makes the point on the scoring criteria that you get 1 point, or an applicant gets 1 point if the disposition is discounted at least 20% or more from the property's current appraised value. So he states that if we were to sell it for 2.3 million instead of $1, that's most likely a 20% discount. So the applicant would get 1 point. If we go down the road we're going down, we get 2 points. So
Okay.
he's saying there's only a 1 point difference really between our selling for what we paid for it and basically giving it away, donating it. And is that and makes the point that 1 point out of 100 really isn't critical. So can you comment on that?
Mr. McLean's restatement of the scoring criteria is accurate, the 1 point versus the 2 points. I will disagree with that 1 point is not significant and meaningful, because in the competition for these very scarce dollars, 1 point can be the difference between being funded and not being funded. And Sunflower Hill has this experience with applying to the state and being a top scoring application.
Perfect timing.
But still not being funded because I think it was 1 or 2 points above, and those were all.
So why don't you repeat your answer? Why don't we repeat this when Bob's here? That would be helpful.
We're just talking about it.
We were just talking about your comments.
Yeah,
So,
sorry for sending it so late.
no problem, no problem, no problem.
I raised a question about your paragraph, well, 3 paragraphs on the second page about the scoring system, and Greg was responding to my question.
Yeah, like how important is 1 point versus
Yeah.
2 points?
Okay.
Right. So why don't you start ahead, Greg, if you don't mind repeating what you just said? Yeah.
So yes, 1 point is available if the property is discounted, I think at least 20%. Or more, 2 points if it is effectively outright donated with the $1. but it is critical. Each point is critical to scoring, and that is the experience of Eden, Saha, Sunflower Hill. That it is so incredibly competitive that every point is very, very meaningful.
And just a follow-up question, is it correct to say that anything that we're approving today or that's going to be signed as this is negotiated, none of that impacts how we characterize the funding on our city records?
In terms of like a balance sheet between funds.
Yeah.
That the city maintains, whether it's the general fund or parking fund or housing fund. I believe that is the case, that you still have the ability through the budget to.
Okay, so that's not today's issue.
Correct.
If I might add to that, I think that issue would need to be resolved prior to disposition of the property. So, which would take some time because the agreement would need to be negotiated. There'd have to be a purchase and sale. So there is time to make those decisions.
Okay, so less time than we were thinking. Okay, so we
And
do
at
this
some
before.
Before
Right.
there's an actual disposition of the property.
Okay.
Right, so.
Which will take some time.
Yeah.
Of course. And sale. So how, if and when this gets exercised, what happens? What's the process here? Do we see it or you just report that it just happened?
You mean the funding? Oh, no.
Not the money, the sale.
Oh, the sale will come, the details will come back to you. This
Okay.
is just the agreement for them to submit their application,
Wonderful. Yeah,
and we will then start working on other details.
great, thank you. Do you have any other questions? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Kendall. So just to clarify, my understanding is that during all this process, the site's still available for its current use.
Correct.
And so the developer has the right to enter to do studies, but there's notice for that, but it just continues on with its current use until such time as maybe even construction starts or whatever.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No. I will take public comment if we would like some public comment.
Yeah, sorry for sending this so late last night. It
Sure.
took a little longer than I thought it would. I mean, just, you can see my main concern is, you know, the city made a commitment about the parking funds, and if, you know, the city ends up moving housing funds into the parking fund to reimburse that, that's fine. I mean, that's kind of the main thing that, and if the city decides, hey, we want to use the parking funds for something other than off-street parking, you know, that there should be a public process where the council goes through and gives people the opportunity, especially local merchants, the opportunity to say, okay, we're okay with parking now, so if I use it for something else, but I think that obligation still stands there. I appreciate what Greg said. I don't know, it'd still be nice to have a little more, you know, oomph behind the claim than, you know, my 2 sentences in the staff report saying, hey, it's $1. It's not very much. And if you guys are making that decision, I hope you've gotten more information than just 2 sentences in a staff report saying, hey, $1 is a good price. And I guess the last comment that I realized on the way over, that the staff report says, hey, this is gonna be 100% affordable housing, but I didn't notice anything in the agreement that says that. The agreement instead just lists a number of units of like 40 or whatever it was. But what would keep them from saying, okay, we're gonna build you the 40, but we're gonna partner with it for profit and do another 40 on top of that. And so if the goal of the city is to keep it 100% affordable, having that language in the agreement might be worthwhile. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment?
Mayor Kendall, there are no additional speakers at this time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bob, for making these statements. Do you have any other questions? Okay, so and doing this push, we've been hearing, at least I have been hearing from other people too, about the parking fund and how this was bought with the car parking funds and now it's affordable housing. And we have heard on many occasions how important these points are. you know, we can't tie it to the affordable housing in another project on Oak Hill, right? Which was possibly a proposal. It's even things like that get you disqualified, right? And this is why the outright donation, as I understand it, by donating it, it's how the, like Greg said, it's just how the process works right now to fund affordable housing. It's set up that we basically have to have matching public funds for everything to work out, you know, funding wise to build these projects. And so, yeah, it's a tough situation. It is a lot of money. I'm very comfortable spending it and selling it for $1, just because these opportunities are so rare. And the community is so supportive of it right now. So I'm committed. I mean, we have just so much public sentiment for it that I think it would be really harmful if we didn't do everything we could to make this happen. That's how I feel about it. Like other people,
I say exactly that sentiment exactly. The projects are rare. The location is tough for housing, generally speaking. Having a facility like we talked about, which has limited parking, limited transportation needs of the residents, is just like it's a really unusual. And the need in the community is so great that. But I agree. I share the concerns of many business owners that we will make sure that parking stays top of mind. So that'll be the next thing we have to work on.
But I do think the point that Bob makes about 100% affordable housing on the site
that's a good point. Yes.
is important to
That's great.
Yeah.
include.
Unless
Go ahead.
Is
If I
that-
might, the fifth recital defines the project as 48 affordable housing units. So
End of story. That's.
yeah, I think it's already
Oh, and
addressed.
that's it. That's
Cool.
It's
all.
addressed, and then through the negotiation process, we'll deal with detail the level of
So that
affordability,
creates
but the project is already
parameters.
defined as affordable housing units.
If I could chime in, just from like conversations with like the head of multifamily at California Housing Finance Agency and a nonprofit housing board I'm on. To me, the context for this is that the supernova is super competitive. And these points, I think I used this analogy once before, but this is like the Olympics. And the difference between a gold medal and finishing out is a fraction of a point.
Right.
And that's the context for this, which is why I don't like kind of just putting it in for $1. But that is the difference between this project having a shot at getting funding or not. And in the bigger picture with respect to money for affordable housing, what I'm picking up is that the pipeline is drying up. I'm seeing that just in conversations with this one nonprofit I'm on, an attorney from Goldfarb and Lipman, which is a leading housing finance agency, law firm. So this is just the context. The picture at the federal government level is really not very promising with respect to affordable housing. And my take is honestly that this may be the last train leaving the station in terms of funding for affordable housing that we could see for quite some time. So between what's happening at the federal level and there's some like questions about the state level too. So I think this is our shot. So if it means we put in $1 or sell it for $1, I should say, that's what it takes to maybe have a chance of this project being successful. So that's the context I see it and why I echo the mayor in this, why I support us doing what it takes to sort of make this work.
Comments?
Well,
Yeah, Lucy, go ahead.
So one thing I couldn't help doing though is, so it's a 3/4 acre site in an area which is zoned 35 units an acre. And in our housing element, it's designated for 23 units, which is the 3/4 acres times the 35 units per acre times this density factor we've used in the housing element, which is 88%. So a lot of housing geekdom in that.
Yes.
But that's how we got to 23 units. And I'll note that this proposal is 38 units, which is well above.
48.
So I'm sorry, I wrote this down wrong,
Even better.
which is well above what we have in the housing element, which just goes to show that, with a little ingenuity and density bonuses, we end up with packing a lot more density into a site like this than what's in the housing element. And I know there's been some parties out there that sort of criticized us on that point. I'm alluding here, but these projects can get done with significant levels above what's in the housing element. So when we start debating about what's the appropriate density factor to use, we used 88%. This is well above all that. So I just wanted to sort of flag that because that's maybe relevant in another context. But I think I support the effort to try to make this as successful as possible. And part of that is the density.
I'll just say I'm totally in agreement with this, whatever we can do to provide this opportunity, this particular opportunity for this population is an immense bonus, so.
Right. Are we ready? I'm ready to take a motion. Good.
I'm happy, yeah, I'd like to move that we execute the exclusive negotiating right agreement and authorize the city manager to execute the said agreement.
And I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? No, we are unanimous.
Okay.
Thank you, and thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Yes,
Good note, good note.
okay, so we will, do we have any public comment for the item on the closed session?
The mayor's taking public comments for items on the closed session before they go into closed session. I have one speaker in our virtual audience. And that would be Libby Henry. Libby, you can speak. You just,
Oh, I don't have to go through all that. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Well, usually I have to go through all this rigmarole to get on. Um, uh, this is really early in the morning and it's good to see that all of you are there. I mean, really early to have this kind of meeting. I'm hoping that you received my letter and I'm hoping, I know that several other people, wrote in letters, regarding this item. I understand that a closed session, you know, obviously it's closed for a reason, but I really think that the council really needs to get public input on how to proceed with this lawsuit. I think any attorney, any reputable attorney would tell you this is a very frivolous and I would consider it malicious lawsuit upon which they have no grounds. You know, our housing element that we all worked on so hard and for so long, and it took 4 tries to get it certified, but it is legally and duly certified by the Housing and Community Development Department, and therefore their claim that we broke the law um, is it's a lie. And you know, I would hope that the city council would draw the line and say this is enough. This particular, you know, YIMBY group has sued the city of San Mateo, as you probably know, and they're still in litigation about it. And I know that the city of San Mateo fought it for the same reasons. There are allegations about wealthy cities, um, you know, trying to correlate the fact that cities might have wealthy people in them, meaning that the city has money, is just stupid. Um, and, you know, and trying to, you know, I mean, what they're saying about us is libelous. What, you know, they've basically attacked our character, and that's worth fighting for because we're good people. It's a good city. We went by the law. It took us almost what, $750,000, and you know, never mind all the work. You should fight this tooth and nail and stop these people. They're bullies, they're liars, and never mind what else.
All right, thank you. Right
Did
on
you get a
time.
chance? I just want to know if you got a chance to read anybody's letters.
Yes,
I think we read them all.
yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So thank you, Libby.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Any other?
no other speakers.
No other
ma'am.
speakers, okay. Okay, so I do want to answer that. For the record, we are not certified by HCD. We should be hopefully any day. It's due soon, hopefully any day, but once that comes out, that's when we will be officially certified. I think that's it. All right, so we will go into closed session. Thank you. I will adjourn this special meeting of the city council with no reportable action. Thank you.